Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. I'm Trevor Lane, joined by Keith Smith. We've got a ton to get into today, a bunch of things happening around the NBA. We've got playoffs, we've got offseason, we've got the Rookie of the Year, all kinds of things to get into. We've got parents to talk about. Why? Why? That's a fair question, but we're going to dive into all of it. Keith, absolute madness in the NBA right now. You just never know what's going to happen in this league.
Yeah, it's just such a weird time of year. I've referenced it before, but you have now more than half the league is focused on the off season and the summer and all of the things to come. With that, the other half of the league is playing the most important basketball games of the season and locked in on that. And while doing that, their front offices are like, cool, I hope we win the game, but I've got to do draft scouting and free agent prep and 100 million things happening there. So there's never a shortage of topics really between now and let's call it the middle to end of July when things slow down again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess let's just dive right into it here. The Celtics and the Pacers advance.
Say that first part again. What was that?
The Pacers advanced.
Yeah, no, the first part. You can say it again. It's
okay. Oh, the Celtics advance once again. I mean, as expected over Orlando. After crying for a while that Orlando was being a little too rough with them.
Hey, then you have to. It's right out of the Phil Jackson playbook, baby.
You gotta complain a little bit. Oh, they're being too tough. They're being too our sensitive skin is being hurt by those mean Orlando Magic.
But magicians.
But they did advance. Not a surprise, obviously, that we knew this was not. I predicted this was going to be a sweep, but the Celtics move on. They do so with, I mean, I guess a little worse for it. Had a few, bumps and bruises, injuries, and things like that. But they do advance on to the next round. And
since
now
people have asked, I'll just touch on there. We don't really know what's going on with Jrue Holiday, other than they're listing him as a strained hamstring. He missed the last few games of the series. The good news is for them, we're going to get to it later. The Pistons forced another game, so they'll be more well rested than either the Knicks, or if the Pistons can force a game 7 and complete the 3-1 comeback, they'll be very much more well rested than those other teams. That's good grammar. I, as a writer, that's why it was important to get it wrapped up with the Magic. The Knicks game, because of the weird timing yesterday with 3 Eastern Conference games. We had a 6:00 Eastern start, then the Knicks started, then the Celtics were like an hour behind the Knicks. So once it was all right, the Knicks lost. All right, it's important for Boston to get that win and go. And then the Pacers, it was important that they close out the Bucks because the Cavs were already sitting home. I'm going to say sitting home after 4 games with their feet up. I think they started putting their feet up after, the first quarter or so of game 3 in that series because it was such ridiculous blowouts. But yeah, so now they were able to get 3/4 of the Eastern Conference is already wrapped up in the first round.
Well, and in the positive thing for the Celtics is obviously it's not good that you've got Jrue Holiday dealing with an injury. We saw Tatum with the wrist thing, and you've had all these little things here. But the good thing is that it's happening now.
Yes.
And it's not if it's happening next round, that's where it's a problem because that's where you really got to play is in the Eastern Conference Finals. You should cruise through round 2 as well. Everybody knows it's going to be Cavs Celtics in the East Finals, so it's. Hopefully what you're doing is getting this out of the way now. You can get it healed up by the time the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think an injury to Jrue Holiday, I don't think the bumps and bruises for Tatum or anybody else is going to prevent the Celtics from being in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs. Everybody's just waiting for that. It's just you need to be healthy by then.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's what you always worry about is when one guy goes down, what happens if then you lose another guy?
Sure.
Because you do hit the point of no return with those things. While we're on the topic, just quick little memorialize for the Magic. Good season for them. They could have packed it in the regular season when Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner missed so much time. It would have been very easy for the Magic to say, it's just not our year with these injuries. Let's punt. But they continued to play really, really hard all the way through. And yes, Boston took care of them in relatively short order, but I think the most important takeaway I have for the Magic now is Paolo Banchero is that dude, right? Like he is big time superstar level player that can be the guy in a playoff series. Now you got to get the other guys. I think Franz Wagner is probably one of them. Jalen Suggs, hopefully he could get and stay healthy and be another one. But it's figuring out the rest of them. But Paolo showed in that series, like he can be the guy to lead you in a playoff series if he has enough help. And that's huge for Orlando going forward, because now you can kind of, whatever your plans were, Paolo's there now. Let's go, right? Like whatever we're doing, let's get moving on this to get the right players around him.
Now, when we look at the Orlando Magic, see, I think when you say it's been a good season for them, I mean, Paulo had a comment after about there's no moral victories and all that kind of stuff. It's been a good, in that sense, the fact that they kept fighting is good. But to me, I'm disappointed in the Orlando Magic. I had higher hopes for them than a 7 seed.
Sure.
And their shortcomings on the offensive end, specifically because coming in, we thought, okay, they have so many problems shooting. All right, they got KCP. They addressed it. They're going to defend at a high level. They've got some shooting. Paulo Banchero is going to hit that next level. And some of this is certainly injury related. But for that sense, compared to what I was hoping for this team coming into the year, I'm a little disappointed, honestly, in where the Magic ended up. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't still have a bright future. I think that they do. But to see the offense still struggle the way that it has, I think there's some big adjustments that need to be made. And maybe a bit of disappointment, too, that we didn't see much of that addressed at the trade deadline as well. But this team's got some things that they need to do this summer, I think, in order to get themselves back on the right trajectory.
Yeah, without a doubt. In relative to preseason expectations, I'm with you. Like, it's a disappointing season, 500, 7 seed. It's more, I reframed my expectations when Paulo and Franz missed so much time during the year, with the weirdly that they both had basically the same oblique injury, and it happened within short order of each other. And to play without your 2 best players for that long and still get a 500 record, that to me is, all right, you made something of the year, and you were able to get the reps for a couple of your key guys in the playoffs against a really tough championship level team. You were able to show, all right, these guys can kind of hold their own. But yeah, I'm with you. Hopefully whoever they go get this summer, and they have tradable pieces. They're a lot closer to the apron than I think people realize. They are. Like, that's going to be a little bit of work that needs done. But I think for the Magic now, whoever they get this summer, let's hope on the tram over from the gate to the main terminal at MCO Orlando Airport that they don't lose their shooting there, because that's what happens to every other guy they get. Like KCP, solid shooter this whole time, goes through that Magic portal there, and now he can't shoot anymore.
I'll tell you what, I hope they also they leave themselves plenty of time at that airport, because you have to dodge kids in Mickey Mouse ears all the way through that airport. That place is insane. That said, look, they do need to find some guys who could shoot the ball. KCP started to come back around as the season went on, but we know he can be streaky. They need some guys who can provide some type of spacing to them. They have the grit, the toughness, what you want to see defensively, but they've got some moves, of course, that need to be made.
You see salary starting to get a little big. Jalen Suggs, 35 next year. Franz Wagner, 38.7. Like, these are no longer value rookie scale contracts. Their new deals kick in. You got one more year of Paulo on his rookie scale deal, and then you're into his. Will be I'm going to say probably a 30% max deal. If he stays healthy, he'll be an all-NBA guy, and that's going to probably get him to the 30% max too. So that's a lot. It's you're starting to pile up quite a bit of salary there. So this is probably the year, if you're going to do something big trade wise, this is the year to go do it. And Isaac, Carter, Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, if you pick up his team option, even Batadze, Anthony Black, Jed Howard, you can start piling up a lot of salaries with a bunch of draft capital, because they have all their own picks plus some extras, and go get somebody. For me, it's time.
It's Paulo's time to consolidate.
There, Franz is there. Yep. Consolidation trade. Go get another big guy, even if you sacrifice. Big as in star importance, not big as in large size. Because I mean, you could do that too if you really wanted to. But I am let's go get them some offensive help.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Pacers, who advanced. I mean, that was insane. The Pacers were down 7 with 35 seconds to play. Now, I always find it a little weird when we put it that way, because like the ball was in the air with 35 seconds left on the 3, that, but still they're with 35 seconds to play in overtime, they're down 7. They go on an 8-0 run We've got multiple turnovers. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. was great in overtime, 4 for 4 from 3, and then drops
Really
the pass out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that it was.
And he had the turnover the play before, too.
Yeah, and ultimately it turns into a Pacers win. I mean, one of those that is a game Pacers fans are going to remember 10 years from now. Like, they're never going to forget. And Bucks fans will probably also, unfortunately, remember that, because the flip side to it, that is a crushing and brutal way to see your season come to an end, especially when it looks like it's over. It looked like it was done. Like, the Pacers, they're set. They're gonna, or the Bucks were set. They're gonna win the game. They're gonna go back to Milwaukee, and that's the way that was headed. And wow, everything unraveled so fast for the Bucks. And I guess, Keith, we should address ugly situation with John Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton's dad, stepping onto the floor, confronting Giannis Antetokounmpo. That kind of stuff should never happen. And it's unfortunate that what should be such a positive moment for the Pacers is now being kind of usurped by this incredibly negative situation.
Yeah, I don't care what your relation is to a player. Your job when you are a fan is to cheer and yell, and that's it. You should not interact with the players beyond that. There should be no point where you're approaching them on the floor or anything like that. That is not necessary, unless obviously invited to do so. Because I'm not going to be ridiculous. We often see the players playfully, playing with kids and whatnot out on the court and all that. But like in any kind of negative way, you want to boo, you want to yell stuff, go ahead, keep it appropriate. We all know that there's lines you can't cross. But yeah, it shouldn't go down that way. Fortunately, it sounds like for Giannis, he kind of was like, yeah, it happened, and then he moved on. I think relatively quickly from that. It's tough. My kind of, there's two things I'm going to really take away from this series. I'm going to put it back to the basketball-ish side. One is it's that image of Dame in Game 4, sitting on the floor. I tweeted it today. I put it in an article that I wrote about the Bucks on the Basketball Bulletin. Very different kind of thing. It's not often anymore that I just kind of like write free flow state like from the heart. And I wrote about the Bucks and how like it just, things don't end well in the NBA. Nobody gets a storybook ending.
I read that. It was a good one.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. And it's that image of Dame, he's literally sitting on the floor injured while the game's still going. Right. And that to me was so poignant because it just, there it is right there on your screen right now. The game's still being played. The game doesn't stop. The NBA calendar stops for no player or team. It just keeps moving. And that's that image. And then the final play, Tyrese Halliburton gets the ball, goes into a pick and roll to bring Giannis in as the defender and blows by him because Giannis had nothing left.
Yeah.
He had literally given everything he could throughout the course of that game. And I took it a step further. Throughout the course of his entire Bucks career, he's given Milwaukee everything he could, and it's probably over. Like,
you think he's done?
I'm not going to be surprised if that's the way it goes this summer. I think it's probably what's best for him. It's probably what's best for the Bucks. I am not doing the first take NBA Today, let's talk Giannis trade stuff, because like that it sucks. Like it's awful. I don't want it to be this way, but it's just I don't see how you go forward from here and make it any better than exactly what it is right now, which is fine, I guess. But that's not what you want. That's not what he wants. So yeah, I think we're headed in a sad direction all around for Giannis, for Dame, and for the Bucks.
I think we're at a point now especially with this Dame injury that has made it crystal clear. Pepsi. God, do you remember that stuff? I don't know why that popped into my head. Anyway,
so let's do it. Let's pick up the mood a moment here.
Yeah.
Crystal Pepsi, when that came out, Rhode Island was a test state for it. And for those who don't know, where I grew up in Massachusetts, about equal distance between Boston and Providence. So like I grew up on what we call the South Shore of Massachusetts. So we literally drove into Rhode Island and bought cases of Crystal Pepsi when it was a test state for them to test out the Crystal Pepsi. And like everybody was like, where'd you get all these and stuff? And then everybody tried it and it was just
Did you start selling it to people in the neighborhood?
No,
You're the supplier?
I wanted to. I was the kid who my parents had a BJ's membership, which if you don't, BJ's, Costco are like the same thing. They had a membership, and I would go and buy boxes of lollipops and Jolly Ranchers. My parents would buy them because I was like 14 years old,
Right.
and then I would sell them for like a quarter a piece at school out of the boxes, and that was my little side hustle at school.
It's a way to do it. To get it done.
Little entrepreneur there.
Get it done. They just hand out that sugar to those kids, and the teachers will love it for it, love you for it. So
I don't even know how we got here.
I don't crystal clear Pepsi, clear Pepsi, whatever. Crystal Pepsi, I guess it was, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway,
Crystal Pepsi.
I think what we know now is Giannis has a choice to make this summer, and that choice is stay with the Bucks or contend. I don't think he can do both. I think that's where we're at now. He can't do both. He can't stay with the Bucks and contend because you look at this roster, no Damian Lillard most likely next season, all of next season. And there's not enough flexibility here to add the pieces they need unless something surprising happens. I don't see it. And so I do think that we could get, and maybe I need to build a drop because I think while we're going to get the summer of the KD trade, we're also going to get and maybe Zion as well, but I think we're going to be talking Giannis trades this summer. I really think that's it. I think he wants to win a championship bad enough to where we're looking at Giannis trades, and 29 teams are making that call.
Yep, 100%. You have to, right? If you're every other team in the league, you're at least having the discussion. What could we do here? I had a Bucks fan say to me, kind of in the aftermath yesterday, why couldn't they trade Damian Lillard and turn that into other contracts and players? Because he's out for the season at $54 million. No, and he's not. If he was 24 years old, sure, somebody like, all right, he'll get back. Like maybe we can get him to where he returns that value. He's 34 years old. Next time we see him play, very likely he will be 36 years old, coming off an entire missed season. Nobody knows what that's going to look like. That's unprecedented at this point. Like we talked about it in light of the injury when it happened. The closest comp we have is Kobe in terms of age and what they were as players, meaning high scoring, primary offensive engine ball handlers. And we all know Kobe wasn't the same guy after, and that's not even a criticism, who nobody is after this injury. And like, and Kobe was 6'6". Like Dame is 6'2" or 3 or whatever he is. He's a small guard. And it's just, I don't know. There's no good way forward here for the Bucks. What I wrote today is there's no good path forward. There's just less bad ones.
Yeah. Yep. That's where we're at.
Yep.
Man, it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah,
certainly
it
for the Bucks.
Sucks. Like it sucks for everybody.
Yep. For the Bucks, at least you'll be able to get if they do trade Giannis, they're going to be able to get a haul. They'll be able to jumpstart their future. But man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. All right, let's talk about this. The Pistons forced Game 6 with a pretty epic win over the Knicks. Jalen Brunson got banged up in the game. That was certainly scary. Josh Hart as well took a really tough fall, but the Pistons were able to prevail and get the job done. And I know a lot of Detroit fans right now saying we should be up right now in the series based on what happened a couple of games ago with that missed call at the end. The Pistons have been, I thought the Pistons would give the Knicks a run, but the Knicks would show they were clearly the better team. And I don't know that that's happened so far. I think the Pistons have really hung with them. And maybe, again, you can make a legit argument that the Pistons should actually be up in this series.
Completely agree. I think when we're doing Front Office Friday this week in a couple days, we're talking about the Pistons forcing Game 7. I'm not saying they're going to win the series, but I think they're going to force Game 7. I am very worried about Jalen Brunson because there were multiple points in this game where not even on contact plays, he tried to push off to run or jump or do something. And you can just see that whether it's the ankle, the knee, whatever it is going on in his right leg, it's just not right. And as a left-handed player, that's his leap, the leg he leaps off of. That's the leg he's going to push off of when he runs. And it's just that one play late in the game where he went to push off and just couldn't go, and he never even made it over half court. Like I'm very worried about that. Josh Hart, he made it through the rest of the game, but like sometimes those injuries are ones where you're playing on adrenaline, then you get up the next morning, it's like, oh man, I can't even move. So I'm nervous about the Knicks, that it's, they're in a spot. In the Pistons, that crowd's going to be bonkers tomorrow.
Yep.
It really, what has been kind of the bellwether in this series has been, if Tobias Harris stays out of foul trouble, Detroit's fine. Like, he's defended Cat so well. It's when he's gotten into foul trouble and then they have to put Duren or Reed on Cat, that's where it all gets really wonky for Detroit. So I think they're going to force a game 7, and we know anything can happen in a game 7. They get really weird sometimes.
Yeah. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen in game 7. And credit to Detroit. It's been a great season for them already. Credit to Detroit that they've been able to have the season that they've had, and that they're pushing the Knicks right now. And we got to remember too, this is something to keep in mind with Detroit from, moving forward. They're doing this without Jaden Ivey. Remember, this isn't the full Pistons team.
Yep.
The things looking good in Detroit right now for the future, regardless of where this series goes from here. I think they've already proved something, and they just may win this series here.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's been this game, not maybe the best example, because I think their guards and wings did a really nice job. But there have been games in this series where it's like, man, imagine 15, 20 minutes of Jaden Ivey here instead of a guy who was really struggling. And, like Asar Thompson at points in the series, like, it's like, maybe some of those minutes would have gone to Jaden Ivey and we could have scored a little easier. Yeah, it's future super bright in Detroit. And man, it hasn't been the most efficient game series for him, but I love the way Cade is just problem solving on the fly, figuring it out. The Knicks are throwing a lot of different stuff at him, and he's just making it happen. He's a special player, much like Paolo, right? Now Detroit, not that they didn't have this feeling, but now right? He can be competitive in playoff series. Now it's about everything else.
All right, let's go to the Denver Nuggets. Boy, every game in this series have been so exciting, so close until this one. Just a blowout win for Denver, and they go up 3-2 in the series. Was not what I predicted. I had the Clippers winning in 6. I thought the Nuggets defense was going to let them down, but boy, they looked pretty good last night.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they both did some very interesting, different kind of stuff. You had Clippers in 6. I had Nuggets in 7. So that was one of the only series we differed on in the first round, in terms of winner and even in terms of games.
Yeah.
I thought Christian Brown did a really nice job on James Harden. I thought the Clippers found some stuff that worked late where they had Harden defending Jokic, which was a very interesting look, just with the idea of Harden is really strong, but James Harden looks exhausted. Like in the last 2 games, he has not looked good. And
3 for 9.
They're not going to win if James Harden can't be, a major weapon for them. And that's going to be tough. They will be home for game 6. I'm kind of rooting for them just because I like game 7s. Game 7s are awesome. So I wouldn't mind seeing another game 7. But yeah, it was Denver, really get some stuff going. And I'll say this, if Jamal Murray is this now, again, if he is playoff Jamal Murray, they have a chance if they win against the Thunder. I'm not going to pick them, but they have a chance. If Jamal Murray can be the Jamal Murray we've seen in previous playoff runs.
They have a chance if they win against the Thunder, like in the finals, or they have a chance to beat the Thunder?
No, chance to beat the Thunder in the next round.
Gotcha.
This is what I mean.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, Jamal Murray, look, if Jamal Murray goes 17 to 26,
it's more just how he's played in general the last few games.
That's part of this too. This is that's for sure. If he steps it up and he becomes that Jamal Murray that we know from playoff series in the past, then certainly that puts the Nuggets onto another level. He can be that X factor for them that bumps them up to the next level. Part of this game though was outlier shooting from the Nuggets. They're not going to shoot 56% from the field every single. If they do, they're winning the whole thing, right? If they shoot 56% from the field every single game and 52% from 3, then nobody's stopping them and they're winning the whole thing. 9 turnovers. This was pretty much, in terms of their offensive production, a perfect game from the Denver Nuggets. You look at more than 30 points every single quarter against a good Clippers defense. I would be surprised if they can do that. If they do, then this series is over in 6 and the Nuggets move on. I would be surprised if they do it again in game 6, but perhaps they found some things. Maybe James Harden is starting to wear down a little bit. Kawhi Leonard was great, but can he do that every single night? He almost had a triple-double, but still wasn't enough. I do think the key for the Clippers is indeed James Harden. You finally got a better version of Bogdan Bogdanovic. He gave you 18 points, but the bottom line is, even if the Clippers are at their best, if the Nuggets do what they did last night, then that's it. I mean, my God, you got 50% three-point shooting out of Russell Westbrook. Like, it was a perfect night for Denver. I still think we'll probably wind up going 7, and that's what I've been hoping for, because I think this series has been so great that we deserve, damn it, Keith, we deserve 7 games in this series.
Especially where we might be seeing a lot of the other series kind of wrap up earlier than we're hoping to see. I mean, like you said, 3/4 of the East first round is already done. Like, let's get a couple long series in here. All right, before we pivot off the playoffs, I didn't put it on the show notes, but I got to ask, what do you think? Lakers extending it tonight, or where are you at?
I hope so. Obviously I hope so, but I think there's going to be a critical moment. There's going to be a moment in this game where the Wolves are going to go on a run. And how do the Lakers respond? Because I'm biased in this, but much of this series I've looked at and said, this is on the Lakers. They've shot themselves in the foot over and over and over again, and they've messed up in so many ways, and oftentimes different ways in each game. And that's what's been maddening for Lakers fans to watch, is them just continue to stumble and trip over their own 2 feet. But there's going to be a moment where the Wolves are going to make a run, and the Lakers are going to have to give the answer of how bad do they want to get on the plane again and go to Minnesota. And what their response is there will determine where this game goes. So I'm hopeful that they say, you know what, look, if anybody's going to come back from down 3-1, a team with LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves, it would be the type of team to do it. Let's go. Let's do this. But until I see it, I'm not going to assume that's what's going to happen here, because I do think there's going to be a moment where they're going to be tested, and they're going to have to make their choice known of what it is that they intend to do here, or whether or not they say, you know what, we don't want to go play in Minnesota again. Let's just call it and let's go home. We've seen teams make that choice before. And I think that's going to be a critical part of tonight's game.
Yeah, I always think when you're down 3-1 at home, let me rephrase this. If you're up 3-1 as the road team, you want to get out there and you want to get on them early and get them having that exact mindset of, I don't want to get on a plane again. I'm already home. Like, the next plane I want to take is wherever I'm going to start summer vacation. Like, that's the mindset you want to get on them. And that's, now we've also seen sometimes that's when the teams, they start playing for like home runs, right? Like right out of the gate. And it's like, you can't hit a 30-point shot. This isn't rock and jock, right? Like you don't, there's no, you bury them right out of the gate, with your first 3 plays. I think I'm with you on a lot of things. There's been just so much self-inflicted stuff for the Lakers, which feels odd, because it is like, not that the Wolves are a young team, but it just feels like it's probably because it's LeBron and Luka, right? It feels like they're the more veteran team. I am a little bit worried, like JJ pulled the card of playing the guy, his best 5 the whole half. Like, where do you go from there? Like, is it like I played him the whole final 3 quarters? Like I don't know. I don't think that's going to be how it goes. Lakers need somebody to come up big that hasn't yet. Like, whether that's Gabe Vincent or Jordan Goodwin. Like, and when I say
they're
big,
not playing those guys.
That's the problem, right? But you need one of those guys to come out, score 8 to 10 unexpected points.
Yeah.
Not saying they got to get 30, because that's not going to happen. But come out, get like 8 to 10 unexpected points, give you 15, 20 minutes where somebody can get a little bit of rest and go. And obviously, the Lakers are now the latest in a semi-long list, in the middle of what is going to be a very long list of teams that are like, what the hell do we do with Anthony Edwards? Like, how do we even guard this guy? That's now a problem for the next decade plus in the NBA, is how do we handle him? He's just so good. Like, and he's always been confident, but now like that confidence is bubbling over. Like he is something else, man. Another, I know this one probably doesn't feel this way for you in the moment.
Yeah.
But man, the league is in such good shape because we have so many special players right now.
Oh no, I mean, it definitely. I think the playoffs in general have been very, very, very good and very entertaining, and we've seen that. There was the report yesterday that ESPN's ratings are way up and everything. Like, yeah, that's that's a sign of how good the league is right now and how entertaining it's certainly been. Obviously, it will hurt me, but it will hurt the league if the Lakers go home in this round. And that's not to say that should be a reason why they don't or anything like. No, you need to win, right? You need to prove yourself. But ratings have been through the roof, or been much better than expected. And I think that's a sign to how good the league is right now. I still think they need to figure out who the next face of the league, like LeBron is still. It's crazy that LeBron's 40 and he's still the face of the league.
We've been having this conversation for like 8 years.
Yeah,
like, they got faces, and it's still LeBron.
Right. Yeah. So, but we all know the clock's ticking. So they still have to figure out who it is. Maybe it will be Anthony Edwards. He's got to clean up some stuff in order, I think, to take on that mantle. But maybe it'll be somebody else. We'll see. But we're certainly seeing stars develop in this league, and that's very exciting to see around the NBA. The way these playoffs have gone. The only thing I'm going to quibble over here with the playoffs so far is the unfortunate amount of attention that's been on the officiating.
Sure.
And it's not because the attention shouldn't be. It's because they've been that bad. I'm not talking about the Lakers series. I'm talking about across the NBA playoffs.
Wildly inconsistent with stuff.
Incredibly inconsistent.
That's most bothersome.
That's the only thing. I think right now there's such a spotlight on all this incredible talent across the NBA, and it's been great. But there's been that one thing that's just kind of like, oh, I wish this wasn't stealing some of the attention, because we've seen just so many mistakes made on the officiating side. That's been unfortunate for the league.
Yeah, and there are a handful of guys too from the player side that, like, if I could change anything, it would be, can you just play through a bad call? Like, just move to the next play from the player side. Luka, Jason Tatum is up there as far as somebody who barks a lot off a missed call, or even sometimes not even a missed call. He just thinks it was. Edwards is that way some. Draymond Green, like, it's the funniest story in the NBA is Draymond Green has one technical. You would have to literally commit, mass murder at half court to get the second one. And even then they'd probably review it.
What was that? Like, why the play? I know the play you're talking about. It was the Hulk Hogan leg drop to the back of Tari Eason's head. What? The play was dead. That should have been a tech, but the referees knew he was on a technical already. And
I think that one might have been because the first one he got, that
wasn't really justified.
Don't defend Draymond. He probably shouldn't have got that one.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like that one, he was just like, hey, let's all knock it off here. It really felt like for maybe the first time ever, he came in to play truly, be the peacemaker. And it was like, Draymond's in the middle of something. Just tee him up, because that's what you do. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, and no other player in the league, not LeBron, who has certainly earned the right, can scream in an official's face the way Draymond can.
It's amazing.
Not get another tee. I just don't get it. It's once he gets one, it's like, there, because he's not accumulating these technicals when he gets them by getting two at a time. It's always one, then one the next game, then one the next game, then one the next game. It's rarely ever is there two in an ejection, unless it's one of the blatantly flagrant things. But now we're off on a whole.
No, and I mean, going back to officiating and all of that. Like, have you seen the images going around of the Dylan Brooks foul on Jimmy Butler shooting the three, and the way Draymond defended Sengun on the final shot, and why is what's a foul at the 3-point line not a foul when it's in the paint or at the free throw line? Just a lot of inconsistencies around the way the game's officiated, even game to game, even within a game. What's a foul in the first quarter may not be a foul in the fourth quarter. Certainly we can talk about the Pistons and all of that. So that's something that I wish. I'm not in favor of like AI referees or anything like that, but I wish there was some way to just get more game to game consistency from the official, while understanding mistakes are going to be made, but can we just at least make those mistakes consistent?
I am to the point where I think I finally have come around and agreed to, we might need a fourth ref. like on the like 4 of them, because the players are too big, too fast, and quite frankly, way too smart now to know, like, yeah, I hit him and it was a foul, but he couldn't see me, because they know, oh, if it's the baseline ref and he's positioned behind 2 players, I can bump the guy and no one's going to see it. Like, there's just too many things and too many holes that, to be seen. And I'm 100% in favor of a 4th official who just reviews stuff, because, or we need to change the review process. If you can't figure it out in either 30 seconds or a minute, call stands. Even if it's wrong, call stands and we move on. Like, we had that for 50 plus years in the league before, and you know what? And there's probably calls people are complaining about, like our grandparents still are, angry, or our parents. And it's like, all right, whatever. I don't really care. Like, it's gotten to be too much with these reviews, like especially at the end of good close games. It's like, come on now with this. All right, so let's talk Rockets Warriors real quick.
Yeah.
What do we think? Warriors close it out tonight, or Houston gets one more?
I think Golden State may indeed close it out. I think the Rockets half-court offense has just struggled so much. I had high hopes for the Rockets. I like this team a lot. I think they're very, very good, but their half-court offense has just had so many issues, and it's really bogged down. So they may indeed close it out here. Now, it is a Rockets home game, so again, I think the Rockets should show a lot of fight in this one, and I hope it winds up going another game, because I think this has been a fun series, and you could tell what I like about this series is, like, you could tell these teams don't like each other. You know what I mean? Like, that I like that kind of energy.
Jimmy Butler said it.
Sure. He said he does not like Dillon Brooks. And a lot of people don't like Dillon Brooks, but a lot of people don't like Jimmy Butler. And a lot of people don't like Draymond Green. It's like we're putting all these villains on the floor together and letting them fight it out, which is a lot of fun. So I hope it does go another game, but I wouldn't be surprised too if the young Rockets, if the moment the pressure gets to be too big for them. And let me say this: if it's close with 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, the Rockets are done. I'll say that.
Yeah, why I'm leaning Warriors finish it off is how good Jimmy Butler looked last game, like especially at the end of the game.
That rebound he got was incredible.
Yeah, he was making all the Jimmy Butler plays, and that to me is like, if he's not limited, I don't see how Houston can score enough to beat the Warriors. It'll probably be close. It'll probably be super ugly, but yeah, I think the Warriors are gonna go. And again, that's another one where let's just say the Warriors do win. The Timberwolves and Lakers is after. The Timberwolves are gonna want to get the series over, so I'm gonna have to play another one while the Warriors are sitting home, resting up, and getting ready for whatever it is. That just puts a little bit more pressure on you to get it closed out when you know your opponent's already done.
Yeah, exactly. Keith, what are the chances that we get through this game, Warriors Rockets tonight, with no ejections?
None. 0. We're getting one tonight.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll be Dillon Brooks. If the Rockets are down and they're out of it, he's going to get himself thrown out. If for no other reason, then he'll have a reason not to talk to the media after.
There you go. Yep.
All
right. Let's go here. Speaking of the Rockets, they will make Amen Thompson untouchable in trade talks. I mean, he's such a freak athlete. I know there's, obviously there's adjustments or improvements, the refinement, let's say. That's a teaching term I used all the time. He needs refinement on the offensive end. But he's so young, so talented, so good. That said, Keith, there have been multiple times in this series watching the Rockets half-court offense where I've thought, oh my God, they're screaming for Kevin Durant. Like, put Kevin Durant on the floor and that solves so much. And that would be the true of a number of different players. And we could talk about the timeline, and he's 37 and all that kind of stuff. But if they had a dude who could create a shot for himself in the half court, that would solve so many of their issues right now as a team, to where I wonder if the Rockets, if they do get bounced here in round one, if they say, you know what, let's go get that. We're not that far off. Let's go get that guy to fix that problem. And off we go. And that might mean sacrificing, obviously not Thompson, but maybe a young player or a future asset or something like that.
Yeah, I always think when a team lets it be known that a player is untouchable via trade, that is code for you're going to have to really give us something great. Sure. Like, for example, if it does not work, even remotely begin to work for either side. But let's say the Bucks said, We will give you Giannis for Amen Thompson, and that's it. Guess what? He ain't untouchable anymore.
Right.
We'll drive you to the airport and wish you well along the way to Milwaukee. That's untouchable is always code for you're not getting them without something
overpaying
coming back
to a degree that the opponent would not want to do that, right? Or the other team.
It's got to be something amazing coming our way, and that's. I honestly, I don't have any real issue with that. He's really good. Like he's really really good, and it's funny because there's people are like, yeah, but is he ever going to be good enough in a playoff series? I don't know. This is his first one. Like, can we calm down? Like, he's 22.
That's the world we live in, though. That's the world we are very quick. We want to rush to judgment, and we want to make a definitive statement carved in stone about what a player is, what a team is, for whatever reason. This is what we do. And I don't mean we like you and me. I mean just on a societal level of social media, all of that. This team is trash, this player is trash, or this player's the greatest, that player's the greatest. And then anytime we see something that supports that claim, we run around and throw it out there and say, look, everybody, I was right. See, this guy's trash or this guy's not right. Which I think loses so much truth, because these players are they're not static. They grow, they develop, they change. Some hit their expectations, some don't. Some blow way past them and become way better than Jimmy Butler's a great example of that. Nobody ever thought Jimmy Butler was going to be this good, and now look at him. And that's some of the beauty of the game and sports and the development of these human beings that sometimes gets lost in this rush to say this is what this guy is and will forever be, because we all need to throw out their hot takes.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like, I think even saying like you can never win a title if Amen Thompson's a big part of your offensive end. Like sure you could. If you put him on the Celtics right now, you could absolutely win a title if he was a big part of things. Like, what are we doing? Just got to get the right guys around him. But like, so I'm not fully buying he's untouchable, but I get why they would put a tag on him that makes it really hard. But even outside of that, they've got a bunch of guys that should be movable this summer if they need to make a move. And I think even if they extend the series against the Warriors, even if they came back and won this series, I think we're seeing you need more offensively. It's just scoring 85, 86 points in playoff games is just not good enough. You're just not going to win.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Let's go. Oh, I guess we should do a big congratulations to Stephon Castle, the rookie of the year. Maybe not a surprise, but
sure.
This is maybe not like Wemby was clearly the rookie of the year. Like there's not that guy in this draft class, but he still had a nice season, I think, and is I think as the season went along, he became more and more impressive. Just continued to grow, continued to develop. Yeah, Zach Ricochet made a late push there. We saw some stuff. Alex Sarr did some things late as well. But
Jalen Wells, I think, was really good.
Absolutely, Jalen Wells, very much unfortunate injury to him at the end there, but very deserving. I think Stephon Castle was the correct choice here.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I would not have screamed and yelled if Ricochet won it. Like, okay, I would have been all right with that. I think a lot of people missed how good he was, because I think when Jalen Johnson went down and then the Hawks season kind of really went sideways, I think people missed like Ricochet really took off, became really good. But yes, Stephon Castle's really good. Spurs, that's a nice duo. I think they're a very, I'm not going to say because they're not so sneaky of a team. I think they're going to be involved on some of these stars that become available this summer, because I think Wembanyama is that good. And why wait, right? Like if he's already this, we don't need to wait. You can go get guys right now and blow that window out and really move it forward with that. So I'm excited for San Antonio. There's a lot of fun stuff that team can do. Did you know they have De'Aaron Fox at point guard too?
No, they do.
The way, I heard not very many people were aware of that, so I just wanted to.
That's interesting. That's interesting. They do. They actually have a point guard. It's interesting as well. Speaking of De'Aaron Fox and point guards, the Kings are going to be looking for a point guard this summer. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a little bit of an interesting story with Scott Perry in place now.
Yeah.
Doug Christie is their
full-time coach now.
As the full-time coach. I don't have a real big issue with that. I thought he was pretty good. And I think what was important here was the Kings did not commit to this is it. This roster is built to be a title team. This was just, we're not starting over. Like, I think they very much left the door open for, we might make some other moves. Like here, we may move some guys, we may change the pieces, but we're not blowing it up. We're not starting over. And I think that's okay. I think they're in a good place. You got to get more defenders on this roster somehow.
Yeah.
I would look to maybe swap DeMar DeRozan if you can. I just think you're very duplicative with him and Levine on the roster as offense first wings. The Bulls only got so far with that. And then you got Sabonis is really good. I would like to see a more defensive minded four who can help cover for Sabonis a little. And if you could use DeRozan as the main piece to maybe get that, that's okay. Great. Let's try to make it happen. But yeah, it's going to be a off season for the Kings that I think is going to mean quite a bit, because you're going to get dangerously close if you don't do something to locking into a team that will probably force you to blow it up within a year or two.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, like moving DeMar DeRozan, who's going to go get, that's the challenge. It's going to be, how are you going to move some of these pieces? Because I think they can get a point guard. I think getting a point guard is something that won't be super difficult, but the problem, Scott Perry was talking about, we want more, athleticism and defense and shooting on the wings and everything, but so does everybody else, right? I mean, what they need is what you could take the team that is the most stacked team in the league, and I don't know who we want to name here, but with wings, and ask them what do they need, and they're going to say more 3-and-D defensive athletic wings, right? Like that. Yeah, OKC. Everybody. Yeah, OKC, right? Yeah. Everybody's going to say we want more of that. So that's going to be a difficult task. Not saying impossible, but that will be a challenge for them to come by. But you're right. If you could find a way to rebalance this, move out DeRozan, get more of a 3-and-D wing. I think the development of Keegan Murray falls more in the spotlight here now, where if he can take another step, that would certainly be helpful. Devin Carter being healthy for a season would help them as well. But ultimately, if you are hitching your wagon to a core of Levine, Sabonis, and DeRozan, I just don't think that works. You don't have any defensive pieces in there. It's not good enough. And so if they don't make some kind of significant change, you're right. I think a year from now, we could get to a point where it's okay. We do need to tear this whole thing down, and we'll put a cover on the beam for a little bit, and we're going to go back into a rebuild.
All right, and we're short on time, so I'm going to hit you with this as my last thought here. I would make a phone call and see where the Grizzlies are at with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Think about him next to Sabonis. Sabonis covers up all of his issues as a rebounder. Sabonis is one of the best rebounders in the entire league. And Jackson covers his issues as a defensive player. And Jackson can shoot from the outside. And Sabonis is showing more of that shot again. I'd at least make a call. Like, what are you thinking? Because you could offer up DeRozan as hey, you don't have to completely start over there. You can still kind of play. And, what else do you need?
Would you part with Keegan Murray? Because that's what the Grizzlies are going to say. Yeah. They're going to say, let's talk Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I would say, how about we talk Devin Carter? Let's talk him first, and then see. But yeah, that's just I would make that phone call. That's kind of the ideal four, I think, to put next to Sabonis. Just because they really complement each other quite well.
Sure, they do. Yep. That would be interesting. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the show. Again, make sure you do subscribe over on the YouTube channel, as well as on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Obviously, a ton of stuff coming up in what's going to be a very, very busy NBA offseason. So again, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.